Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at the 1 to 4 player game Mageling, published by Familiar Games. In this game, you're a Mageling and you are learning how to use your magic, and you're on a quest to save the Evertree. So let's go ahead down to the table here and show you just a brief overview of how the game feels and plays, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is what a typical setup of Mageling will look like. Now in the game Mageling, what you're trying to do is there's three different modes. There's a cooperative, a co-op, and a competitive. We're going to mainly talk about the competitive, but in the co-op you'd also have these bad guys show up, and you get another copy of this Evertree that comes out. Now each of these locations do have multiple cards, but you'd have another Evertree come out, and these guys would be out, and these boards would be flipped, and you'd have a special ability, and basically what you're trying to do is protect the Evertree. So we're going to talk about the competitive mode. Now in the competitive mode, what you're going to do is you're going to shuffle up and put one of these locations out each, and they have a little number here so you can know which order they're supposed to go out, and then shuffle up this Nexus deck and put a Nexus card, 5 Nexus cards out. Each player is going to get their standee, they're going to get their board, little energy token to go on 0, and they're going to get mana equal to their player order plus 3. So first player is 4, second player's going to be 5, third player's 6, and fourth player's 7. Now we're going to clear these guys, most of this off here, so you have a better look at the board. We'll just leave these two guys. Okay, so the goal of the game is to be able to travel all the way to here and win. When you go on to a location, you flip it over if you're the first one there, and that is what you have to do to be able to pass it. Once you've passed all 5, you win. Now there's a couple different things you can do on your turn, and again this is actually a super brief overview just to give you an idea of how the game plays and what the main parts are. This is the main part, the dice. So you're going to roll your dice, and you can have one reroll. So I'm going to take a look what's here, and I'm going to say I want to reroll a single die, and that was great. Okay, so now that I have this, I can place my dice. So a couple different things you can do on your turn, but the main things are going to be these cards in a row. You can also have cards out here you can activate with dice, but you don't have them yet. So you can see the symbols on here. These are corresponding to the cards. This one has the moon symbol here. This symbol here is how much it costs to buy it. Right now I have 0 energy and 4 mana. 1 mana can be converted to 1 energy to help you out. I can gather, so if I have 2 identical here, I will gain 1 mana. If I put 2 dice here that don't match, I can gain 1 energy. Now I can set a focus, and if I set a focus, what's going to happen is if there's a card out there that matches it, I have a lot of these guys out, I will be able to trigger that card. But for however many I put out here, I will also gain an energy. So I gain 2 energy, and I can trigger one of these. So if I wanted to do this, the bottom thing will happen here. I'll gain 1 for each other activated one of this type scroll. But there's no scrolls out. So I could do this one where I say you may discard a card from the Nexus. So this card gets used. I can discard, let's say I don't want them to have this one. And then now 2 new cards will come out. They're now available. And let's say I use this one to focus. So I will gain another mana, and effectively the energy will go away, so I want to spend the energy. And this card gives you all sorts of different things you can do for the spirit crystals and all the basic actions you can do in the game. So it's a really nice sheet. But now that I have all my stuff. I can change this to 1-to-1. So actually, technically, I have a buying power of 8. So I could pretty much afford anything but this one. I really like this card, so I will foolishly spend all my mana and all my energy and pick up this card and put it in. I can also travel to a location. If I travel to this location, I'll flip it over, and there's a global effect that affects everyone, and there is going to be what a reward I get for defeating it, and this is how much energy it costs to defeat it in general. A couple things that didn't come up yet. These are really important. These little guys right here, if you put one of these or get one of these, you have to spend 2 energy before you can continue on your journey. And again, the point of the game is to get to the 5th location and defeat it and win. So that is a very, very brief overview of how to play Mageling. Just a general idea of how the game works. There's a lot more. Like I said, it's on this card here. And there's some other stuff. But in general, that's the idea of how you play it. So let's go head back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So Mageling is a fun game. I like the competitive mode the most. So I would play this competitive, I think, all the time. It's okay for the cooperative and such, but the competitive I really, really like. I like the different variety of cards that you can get, the different decisions that you can make, and that you're generally always okay with what you have going. So you can always work something out. And one thing I didn't roll or show is you can get these little assist tokens, which are the hands, and you can use those like wilds. So you can use those to help with your focus, to use to match with your other dice to do things. So those are very helpful to roll or keep around. So overall, good game. It is a dice pool management game. So if you're into that, this is probably going to be a game that you're going to like, and I would suggest checking out. So that's my thoughts on Mageling. Thank you for watching.